bitch, dude.
That I ever claimed to be
What
a
you're
year.
not gonna do is raise your voice.
What you're not gonna do is question me being a dad to Chloe.
Yeah, you just piss me off.
Very disrespectful for Jamal to say that or challenge my role as Chloe's dad because it's nothing to do with Chloe. And no one's asked you to step in and start acting like a father to Chloe. Prove yourself as a good partner yet.
All right, let's talk about this again. You know, I know a lot of people have their own opinions or whatnot, and I know some people was not happy with what I said, or at least disagreed with what I said last week. I mean, listen, this is the thing, you know. Okay, cool. So in this situation here, obviously, Jamal didn't have to say anything necessarily about the fact about Tim's relationship with Veronica's daughter. I agree with that 100%. There was no need for it, you know what I mean? But at the same time, though, there was never any need for Tim to have an opinion on Jamal, and there was never any need for Tim to try and be a issue between Jamal and Veronica. So it kind of goes tit for tat, you know what I mean? But the matter of the fact is, though, I think what Tim needs to recognize is why this is being said. Why is Jamal bringing this up? And what he needs to recognize is that Veronica has been talking things about you towards Jamal. Jamal has only spoke about your role as, you know, being in her life as a father figure purely because of whatever Veronica's moaned about. So what Tim really should be focused on right now isn't even Jamal. He should be focusing on the fact that Veronica's out here saying something, you know, against his name about his parenting as of late. And that's just a grand scheme of it, you see what I'm saying? But hey, I guess these two just want to talk about it, right? They're going to act as if, you know, Veronica wasn't the accurate issue. But this is the problem with Tim. Tim is so hell-bent to prove points about how Jamal isn't good enough that he would rather ignore the fact that Veronica's the one that's actually out there talking the most about him. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, like, you know, regarding even what I said last week about, you know, Tim not necessarily being the father and all that kind of stuff because, you know, he didn't give da-da-da-da. I feel like some people forget this sometimes, right? If a woman has a child, okay, if she's got a child, and this is something common, I mean, listen, my neighbor upstairs, like, he's living proof of what I'm about to say right now, okay? And this is why I said what I said. If Veronica already has a child with somebody else, even though that person may not be in the picture, Tim has come into the life, right? Fantastic. He's then stepped up throughout the time he was married and he was with Veronica. Fantastic. He did a great job at the time being a father figure. Now, here's the thing though, right? Yeah. But here's the thing that people forget. If Veronica one day decided to say that Tim, me and you can't be friends anymore, we're cut off, Tim has no right to ever see that child again. That's the bottom line. So the point is this, right? People can see however they want to see it. But the grand scheme of this is that if you get in a relationship with somebody who's got a child and that child is not yours and then you break up, it doesn't actually matter how much work you put in to be a great father or mother figure for that child. Because once you break up that person, if they want to move away with their child, they can do so, and there's nothing that you can do about it. So that's why I said what I said. That's just the grand scheme of it. I mean, listen, my guy up here been telling me that literally he was with a woman for many years, and he helped raise her son. I mean, he had a son of his own anyway at the same time, but he helped raise her son literally for many years. And then the second that they broke up, she said, "I'm out." Took the son with him, and literally this man's like, so basically this whole time I was never actually that kid's dad or even his father. I was just somebody that she dated and somebody that was willing to fill in the role. But once she was ready to be done with me, she left and didn't even give me any access to ever see that son again. And the worst thing is, there's nothing that I can do. And I just feel like people have to recognize that sometimes. That's just the grand scheme of it. That is how the world works. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, if I walk into someone's life right now and they've got a child, and then we break up, listen, I'm expecting my relationship with that child to pretty much be downhill by then, because literally, what can I do? So the fact is, Tim was only really a person that was there at the time that was able to give that father figure role, but he's never gonna have the power of the actual being a legal parent. You see what I'm saying? Unless, of course, he adopted her, then it's a different conversation. But that never happened. Because that never happened, well then, you know what I mean? So the grand scheme of it is that if Veronica finally decided to say, you know what, Tim, I need to let you go. I need to let you go because I need to find somebody else. His relationship with her daughter is probably over. In fact, I believe it's probably going to be over, because if Veronica right now is already saying negative things about Tim behind his back to Jamal, that says it already. Because clearly, since they've been broken up, even though they're still close, whatever father figure he was before, he isn't necessarily that right now. And they're still friends at this point. So once they're not, it says it all, doesn't it now? But listen, Tim still does not have a right to be in a position to say that Jamal has not proven himself to be a worthy boyfriend for Veronica. Veronica's a grown-ass freaking woman. It is up to her to determine whether or not a guy is right for her or not. It's as simple as that. You have no say, Tim. You know, if you cared about Veronica that much and all that kind of stuff, then why the hell did you break up in the first place? And why the hell is she now in a position where she's talking BS about you, or talking truthful, or maybe speaking facts about you and your current parenthood? You know what I mean? Like, come on, make it make sense. But listen, I guess these conversations are always going to be subjective depending on how you want to look at it. But I'm just speaking from experiences that I've witnessed from people and all that kind of stuff. But hey ho. And to be fair, for me myself in particular, I grew up with a stepfather, but yeah, stepfather. We keep it that way.
Timothy, like, seriously?
Timothy, what? 23 anymore, bro. You want to deal with that?
Yes, I do want my man to step away.
To walk away like a child, okay?
I just want...
And you see how he's not even listening. She's literally saying that, you know, I do want a man to be able to step away when things get heated, not stick around. What's Tim doing? Sitting there moaning, saying like a child. It doesn't matter whether or not this situation was ever going to get physical or not. It is still better that one of them walked away. Walking away does not necessarily make you a child. At the end of the day, if Jamal feels like he was in a heated situation where maybe he would have gone too far, then he did the right thing by walking away. What benefit does Jamal have from sticking there and having having this conversation with Tim going back and forth? Where is the benefit? Let's say Tim was the one to walk away. I would be saying exactly the same thing. Where would be the benefit? This is definitely one of the situations where you needed to walk away. But nah, Tim's going to be like exactly like a child, because Tim is hell-bent for what Tim wants. And that's the crazy thing is, what the hell does Tim even want? Why does he want to be such a nuisance in her relationships? I don't see Veronica going in his life and trying to be a nuisance in his relationships. I don't see her going, you know, I don't feel like she's good for you, blah, blah. But then again, at the same time, Tim's better in a relationship. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Veronica hasn't done it before. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's not the case, but I'm just saying that Tim stays actively doing it, and he does it without even giving someone a chance.
You to get along.
Okay, the boundaries a little bit.
I hate being in the middle of this. There's no way to win. I can't pick a side without somebody being upset.
Oh, well, Veronica, that's your fault. You put yourself in this dilemma, and now you got to own it. It's just that simple. It's just crazy, though, because the situation is so simple. If I was Veronica in the situation, do not invite Tim to things that you want to do with Jamal. When you are dating somebody, you need to literally push Tim to the side. But generally speaking, you need to just get rid of him anyway, to be honest with you. Personally, for me, I don't really believe in this whole idea of being friends with an ex. The only time you can still be cordial with an ex is if you share a child together, because end of the day, if the court say, and at the end of the day, if you got joint custody or that kind of stuff, that is the only time you need to be cordial with an ex. Never be close with an ex. That is freaking weird. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, we continue.
Yeah, it's just this constant, like, he just doesn't like me or anyone she's dated. I just think he's always going to be negative towards the relationship. So who cares about what he thinks? And she'll act like she does, but y'all see it. Yeah. Why else would he be here?
Facts. Why else would he be here? Absolutely. I don't know why she cares so much about what he thinks. And this is where I'm going to say Jamal is wasting his goddamn time. You know, identify the situation. If it's me personally, would I want to stick around and keep trying to fight for somebody knowing that they are going to value an opinion of another man against me? Hell no. So Jamal needs to really be like, you know what, I need to walk away from this, because it's not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. It's as simple as that. The longer he stays in it, the more he's going to get frustrated. And you know what? That's just going to be his own fault for sticking around. Because the way I look at it is this: unless Veronica gets rid of Tim, I'm leaving. So that's how I would be if I was Jamal. And I wouldn't even be in a situation where I'm going to give an ultimatum. No. I'm just going to say, listen, I'm not comfortable with the fact that, you know, you're friends with an ex, and the fact that I'd be like, it's one thing for me to be comfortable that you're friends with an ex, but it's a whole other thing to know that this ex of yours has comments about me when he doesn't need to, and that makes me feel uncomfortable. So therefore, I'm going to choose to walk away. I'm not going to ask you to get rid of him. I'm just going to choose to walk away. If she then wants to be like, no, I'm going to sort it out, I'm going to get rid of him, then fair enough. You see what I'm saying? You can say maybe that's reverse psychology if you want to, right? But if I'm saying that, I'm actually generally saying that I'm going to walk away. And obviously, if you do decide to sway me by saying you're going to get rid of him, then obviously I'll be like, okay, well, maybe I'll stay. But I wouldn't actually say initially as a reverse psychology tactic, because I know there's some manipulative people out there that would actually say that.
At this point, like, worrying about Tim, the daughter, the move,
A lot.
so many things.
But I like Veronica. It's cool.
At this point, think about it. Moving to Charlotte isn't just like moving just for Veronica. It comes with a baggage.
And the worst thing about it is that the baggage isn't even Veronica's daughter. It's freaking Tim. Imagine that. Imagine someone's baggage is their ex. This is like Ariello, you know what I mean, with Beniam, having her ex. Jesus.
With me in such a relationship that I don't really know if I'm gonna like be here. Tim has been the biggest factor as to why I do have some doubts about living here and show that I am good for Veronica. We don't have to be buddy-buddy, we don't have to be even friends, but like, stop talking about me to Veronica.
That's the grand scheme of it. I mean, to be honest with you, I think Tim should be grateful for the fact that Jamal actually doesn't have an issue with him being in Veronica's life. He's not even that bothered about it. He just wants Tim to just not talk about him. And I say he's grateful about it because most people would be like, nah, this guy can't be in your life. He doesn't need to be here. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, listen, for me personally, you know, would I necessarily have an issue with an ex being in your life? I mean, listen, at the end of the day, who you knew before I existed doesn't really have anything to do with me. But if who you knew before I existed becomes a problem, now I'm here, well, then a choice has to be made. You see, but I'm going and they're going. Do you see what I'm saying? So I don't think it's fair to be like, okay, well, you can't be friends with so-and-so if that person's already been there. You know what I mean? If I wouldn't like it, but I'd be like, I can deal with it as long as they don't get in my way. But Tim gets in the way, and that's why Tim has to go. But hey, that's just my opinion. You guys let me know what you're thinking down below, and we can talk about it. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.